Welcome to the Warband, a World of Warcraft podcast. My name is Swag, and with me today, the one, the only, Chicken. Dude, Chicken, what's up?
Hey, what is shaking, my man? I don't know why I said that. That was kind of weird.
You know, pre-patches here. Lots of things have been happening. Even a little bit more happening this week. A lot to talk about, I think. Which is really
there
exciting.
is. No, it's one of those weeks, and dude, it's weird. Like, all I want to do is go outside right now and not play.
Really?
Just kidding. No, I don't want to go outside at all.
Dude, there's like a foot of snow.
Dude, I spent the last hour like shoveling, and yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah, we
been
are
rough.
recording this right in the middle of the snowstorm. So like, we figure we're not going to be doing anything else. Might as well be doing this.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, does it make sense? Should we postpone recording because of the snowstorm? And you were just like, no, like that makes no sense at all. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what else am I going to do? But with that said, though, before we talk about anything else, before we talk about what's been going on this week or what we've been up to, what's happening with patches, all the fun jazz, including listener questions, I do want to make one little but major announcement regarding the Warband podcast.
Okay.
Chicken, do you know what it is?
I'm here for it.
Yeah. So,
I don't actually. Yeah, I don't have any idea what you want to say.
That is concerning. That is concerning when we're making a major podcast announcement and our co-host here, Chicken, does not know about the announcement.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm just teasing.
That was a meme, guys. That was a meme.
No, Chicken and I are excited to let you all know that we now finally have a Warband neighborhood in World of Warcraft. So if you're yo, we're not in your guild, like we're not a part of your guild. We have a guild that we love, but we want to still kind of have houses around y'all. We have a Warband neighborhood. It is a Horde side neighborhood. So if your guild neighborhood is Horde already, that's a bummer. It's not going to work out.
Rip.
But even still, you are all, everyone who's listening is welcome to join the neighborhood. I don't think we can have phases of it. I think we're capped at 50, but I don't know. I could be wrong. We'll find out. So if anybody wants to be a part of, I think the neighborhood is literally called the WarbandPod. I think that's what
yes,
what
is.
I call.
Yeah.
And so it's
literally called the Warband.
Pretty straightforward. So if anybody wants to be a part of it, all you have to do is just jump on our Discord. Let us know. We have a few people set up already as managers for it. Chicken, I even set you up as one. And the nice thing is it's not like guild invites. You don't have to be online for us to send the invite. So if we just get people letting us know that they want in, whoever logs in next can just kind of toss them all in there so that they have access to the neighborhood. Dude, I found like the most beautiful plot. Because I've looked at a bunch of like plot tier lists to see which plot's the best because I was like going around looking. And this one wasn't
plot tier lists.
Yeah, it was like looking at like what are the most beautiful like housing plots in the Horde Razorwind shores. But I gotta say, dude, I found a spot that wasn't on the list. It's plot 50, I think. Yeah, plot 50. Bro, absolutely, like, wonderful. Gorgeous. And there's 4 waterfalls. So you're sitting there and you're just watching this beautiful view of, like, 4 waterfalls. It's actually, like, pretty dang sick.
Yeah, I have no idea. You know, I just kind of picked one. Actually, it was next to you, so I was like, "Oh, this feels fitting." Like, I know you complained that we didn't have a house next to each other, so
That's
I was
true.
like, maybe I'll just find one.
You got cool little spots, like an isolated little plot with like a bridge heading to it.
It's a nice little plot. Yeah, it felt right. I was like, I'll just do this.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that said, though, I'm actually gonna be AFK for like 10 seconds. I gotta fix something. I'll be right back.
That is okay. We are excited we're excited to kind of start that. And as of right now, I think there are a couple people in the actual neighborhood. And thanks for everyone who signed the charter because it was not a mess, but it took us a while to get all the signatures for the charter. Actually needed 10, and that was not an easy task apparently because there was only certain people amount online, and we did the best we could to get 10 signatures. And someone actually even created a horde character to give us a signature, which, hey, I mean, I get it. Like, you want to be the first person in the Warband's neighborhood. So, I mean, I kind of understand that.
Yo, were you filling all that time? I was just going to cut it. Is that content?
Oh,
Did we get content? Yeah. Awesome. But speaking of content, dude,
rip.
Chicken, what have you been up to this week?
Yeah, so to be honest, played a fair amount, and I had a good time playing. Nah, I don't know why. That just was the first like words that came to my head. No, I really didn't play as much during the week as I have been. Obviously, there's not like a huge goal or achievement that I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna take a little bit of a break this week. Although I still played a fair amount.
Yeah, I've seen you on quite a bit.
But yeah, I just been kind of grinding away at doing some stuff that I didn't get done when I should have gotten it done. So I'm doing some Siren Isles stuff, which is low-key the most boring stuff I feel like I've ever had to do in my entire life. And it's so bad. It's so boring. Like, and it sucks because no one's there. So like the stuff to do on the Siren Isles is actually like really impossible because no one's there.
Yeah, it's really designed for multiplayer
I'm trying to get
content.
the meta achievement. And
how close are you to the meta achievement?
Oh, not even close. Not like anywhere. Like,
can I ask a dumb question?
What?
I've never even attempted or looked at the meta achievement, but obviously all my friends talk about it all the time. Like, what even is it?
It's basically just like a taste of like everything in that expansion. So like the big thing for this one was delves. So there was like a lot of delves stuff that you had to do.
Oh, okay.
There was a fair amount of just like some of it's just like in my professional opinion is just like busy work. It's like, oh, like go and like get all these like flight post griffins, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is a lot of work. So I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I might just give up on this, but the mount is so cool. Like, I want that mount so bad. And I think it has the potential to be like one of my favorite mounts ever, but it's so much work. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I give up on it in like a week or two, or if I keep kind of going at it. Like, some of these quests I feel like are almost virtually impossible right now. Like this one that I'm doing right now on the Siren Isles just feels like impossible because it like when we actually like had the Siren Isles, I feel like it probably wasn't as bad, but now that like I haven't been here for so long, it's like this just feels so hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah, trying to do that
solo
know. And trying to go, that's a pain.
Dude, it's not that it's hard to do it solo. It's just I just don't remember how to do any of this stuff because I haven't done it in like forever.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like,
try to remember everything. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember on the Siren Isles, and you probably don't because I don't know how much of the Siren Isles you play. Like, 1 week, they give you, like, this upgrade to the ring that, like, shows you, like, hidden chests. And I'm like, I don't even know if I have it active right now. And I'm trying to, like, Google, like, oh, like, where's a map of where these items could be? And, like it just doesn't exist. So, like, this is one of the ones where I'm just like, is this one just going to be impossible to do?
Yeah.
I don't know. It very well could be.
That's rough.
So
that's rough.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I'm sure there's a way to do it, though. I'm sure there's like a way to still make it work, but it's probably a pain.
Yeah, it's like some of them aren't easy. Like this one is probably one of the harder ones. I need to get the Earthen Race, which that one should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
I need to get.
Wait, you haven't unlocked the Earthen yet?
No, I haven't, to be honest. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Big bad on my end, right?
It makes you feel better.
Yeah,
I just recently unlocked the Volpera, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, never once was there a moment where I was like, dude, I should make a Volpera. So I just never unlocked them.
Yeah, I don't make a lot of new characters, so it's like I don't really see the point in getting the Earthen.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a cool race, but I'm just like, how often do I make new characters? So, and I'm not gonna race swap. Like that's just to
Yeah.
me, it's not good use of my, money.
No, that totally makes sense. Plus, I feel like your gnome is iconic.
Yeah, at this point, I can't really justify switching to
I think
anything else.
I bought a bunch of race swaps forever ago. When they had like a 3-for-1 deal or something weird going on.
Oh, okay.
And so I had like I might even maybe I still have one sitting on my account. I just haven't used it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just race swapping to me feels kind of interesting. Low key, I thought for a moment that you could like transfer characters from one account to another, which I thought that would be goated, but then I was like, oh, this feels kind of cappy at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever I saw character transfer, I was like, oh my goodness, like I can like in my mind that was like, oh, if my wife ever wants to get into WoW again, I can always just character transfer one of my people to her account. And
Oh yeah, it doesn't work that way.
and like she would be like perfect, like she'd have a level 80, and I'm like, I'm low-key a little surprised that they don't do that, but
Because
then
people
like
would just sell. They would just sell their characters,
Yes.
right? So
Yep.
you
Yeah.
charge money. Yeah.
Oh yeah, people would 100% just level characters up to 80 and then sell them.
Yep.
And I guess if you sell them for gold, it's not a problem, but that's definitely screams like that's
Oh yeah, that'd be real
world
money. Yeah, that'd be a real money.
that
transaction.
screams like this is gonna be like actual money.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
understand why, but it's kind of like, oh come on,
Yeah, dude,
guys,
tell
come on.
your wife if she she gets into WoW again, she can make a house in the guild, not the guild, in the podcast neighborhood.
Dude, oh my gosh. I was just showing her, like, I was like, oh, look, I was like, oh, this is my other house. And she's like, oh, can I decorate that one? I'm like, no. What do you mean? I was like, dude,
the
like,
itch,
let
the
me
itch
at
is
least
real.
decorate something.
The itch is real, dude. Like, there's bro, housing is fun. And people who are like because I've not a lot, but I've seen some people pooping on housing. Like, I can't believe Blizzard's putting time into this, and like they should be putting time into making dungeons better or raids better or better whatever, right? It's just like, guys, this is like genuinely really fun. Like, it's really fun. And I'm sure there's things that we lost out on because of housing, right? Like, I'm sure because of the amount of time and energy put into housing, we probably lost out on something else. Maybe some of the class reworks or borrowed power systems or whatever, right? But you know what, though? I don't care. Dude, like, any of that stuff that they could have offered me isn't, like, nearly as good as what housing has offered me. It has been just nonstop fun. And fun for me in a what is generally, like, a pretty boring time in WoW, right? Like, that end of expansion time.
Mhm.
It's been a blast still.
Yeah, I don't, like, to me, it's like, like, I don't, it's weird to speculate like, oh,
Yeah.
they could have put like so much, because to me it's like, yeah, but like they could have put so much time into something else if they didn't like do X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
to me, it's hard to speculate that.
Yeah, like they for sure had to, like if they hadn't done housing, they would have done something else. But there's no saying if that something else would have been better. I'd actually argue that there's like no shot that something else would have been better. I think housing was like
I
phenomenal.
probably agree. Yeah. Because like honestly, what else would they do? Like I don't even know at that point.
Dude, this is so random. But sorry, I'm reading through some Wowhead articles, like trying to make sure I'm just up to date on everything. And there's an article about a housing competition, like a player housing competition for Raider.io. And dude, I don't know what it is, man, but like Wowhead commenters, like there's two types of Wowhead commenters. Let me clarify. There's two types. There's like the item and quest commenters, right? Like when you look up an item or a quest, those guys are amazing. I love people who comment on Wowhead to help me figure out a quest I'm stuck on, or like give context or answers to things, or pinpoint like where something's located. I'm all for that. Those people are the heroes of World of Warcraft, 100%. I may be called champion, but they're the real champion, right?
Oh my gosh.
On the flip side, though,
the most. Oh my gosh.
On the flip side, though, on Wowhead, the news articles, the people commenting on news articles are like the scum of Orgrimmar. Like if you go into like the
Is it really
darkest,
that bad?
if you go into like the darkest, shadiest, sketchiest part of Orgrimmar, where like probably where they still like talk about how great Garrosh was and how much better everything was under Garrosh, that's the commenters on like Wowhead, where I don't think you could ever make them happy. I just don't think you could ever make them happy. They're talking about this like competition Raider IO's doing. They're giving out like some stuff to the winners and things like that. And everybody's just like commenting, and they're like, "Oh, why would I want to do something just so that Raider IO has more content built on me?" And it's like, okay, then don't. I guess like, listen, dude, are you offering to do something fun? Are you willing to create something? Are you willing to put the work in and the finances in to like offer these rewards and prizes and do something fun? No, you're not. So shut it, dude. Shut up. I don't know. I just think it's funny. I just think it's really funny how like, I don't know, just negative those commenters get. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. But that's like WoW people in general, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's kind of like, I don't know. WoW is one of those games. I think WoW is like one of the only games I've ever met where I feel like people actively dislike the game that they play.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll play it. They'll play it like 8 hours a day, right? And then like just do nothing but talk crap.
Dislike it.
Do nothing but talk crap on it. And I think that's one of the things I really like about the community that we formed with the Warband. Because that's just not like, that's not you or I. Like, we both understand that, sure, Blizzard's going to make choices we don't like. Sometimes that's just because they took a gamble and that gamble didn't pay off, right? Like, I don't think Blizzard ever does anything because they want it to be bad, right? So sometimes they'll take a gamble, that gamble doesn't pay off. But most of the time it works out. Most of the time I really love what they do, or they don't do something I wish they did because maybe resources or whatever. But most of the time, like, I love the game that they create. And so I love that this podcast and that recognition we kind of bring to it, that nuance to the conversation we bring to it, really shows up a lot in the community that has formed around our listeners and on Discord, of just like, we could have great conversations. Like, we could have great conversations, because when you go into more public discourse areas regarding WoW, whether it's like the actual forums, Reddit, maybe some of the worst would be like Facebook posts, right? Like, when you see any of those, it's just so negative. It's just all the time. It's like, oh, this game will never be great again, but I still play it 10 hours a day, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, man.
Like, come on.
Everyone's just always so negative. But Blizzard does a great job making a fantastic game. If it wasn't a fantastic game, I wouldn't be playing all the time, dude. I have other things. Like, I have enough hobbies. I have enough interests. It's not like I have nothing else I could do. I just really enjoy it. It's fun. And, yeah, anyways, all that to say, I was just thinking about, because I was reading that Wowhead article, and they were just absolutely pooping. I mean, but every Wowhead article I read, right, it doesn't matter how good it is, right? Like, where's the one about Blizzard offering a free transmog and 50% reduced transmog costs? I guarantee even in there, and we'll talk about that later on the podcast. Oh my
gosh.
Even in there, right? Let me pull up the comments, because now I'm on the roll. 96 comments. Oh, wow. They are capable of making decent choices after all. Right?
Is that seriously what it says?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it's just nonstop. It's just nonstop insults, right? This game is such a mess, and people are quitting because of you. People are quitting because of transmog cost on a system that, like, you don't even have, like, once you set it, you never have to pay for it again.
That's kind of an interesting concept, but
yeah.
I don't know, dude.
So are they going to refund me half of the $40K I spent, or question mark? No, they're probably not. And you still chose to spend that $40K, bro. Nobody forced you. Nobody forced you. It was transmog. It wasn't like you had to do it.
Dude, I'm gonna like cut you off before you start throwing hands and saying words.
Yeah. I just,
because
you know what?
We're gonna get canceled again because you're elitist.
I am. I'm the greatest elitist ever. Okay. Here's a theory I have.
Oh my gosh.
And this is a theory I've picked up from reading like posts on X, the Everything app. So here's my theory. My theory is that there's a large group of role players out there who roleplay hating the game. I'm like pretty confident of that. I'm pretty dang confident that that's the truth. There's a large group of role players that just roleplay hating the game. Not all of them. I know some great role players who are awesome people. But there's a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy.
Like everything you've said up until now, I've kind of just been like, okay.
Yeah.
But that actually might be the most logical thing you've said all day.
It's just like, it's almost like being negative is like the cool thing, right? Like, oh, I'm going to be negative about this. I'm going to talk crap on this because that will garner more attention. That will garner more traffic to my comments, more responses to my comments. But there's no shot these people actually dislike this game as much as they like say they do. It's just no shot.
Yeah,
no shot.
I agree.
Otherwise, play something else.
Yeah, so away from that topic, because I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole anymore. What have you done this week in the world of Warcraft? Let's start there, and then I do want to. There's a conversation I wanted to have last week, and it'll be quick. But then I do want to talk about our first impressions of the pre-patch because there's a lot, really. There really is. Yeah,
so this week I've been reading posts on X, the Everything app, about how much people hate World of Warcraft, and I think they're full of it. I think they're full of it.
This guy. Oh,
nah. So for real, this week I've been doing a bit. I've been doing a bit here and there. It was an extra busy work week because I had to get like everything prepared for the storm and whatnot. So a little chaotic. Even still, I just had a lot of fun on WoW this week. My wife and I have been doing dungeons together. Nothing crazy, just 2s, but she's really enjoying it. I think she's having a lot of fun just walking around the dungeons, trying to dodge everything. We were on a fight earlier today, and she's like, I'm not even attacking. I'm just trying not to stand and stuff. And she's like yelling into the mic. She's like, I just don't want to die. I just want to die. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Right?
That's my life.
Right? But you slowly get better and better, and you slowly start to learn all the utility. And she's getting, every time we do it, she's getting better and better. So we've been running a bunch of 2s. We did a +4 last night.
Oh, that's not bad.
Right. I start to get nervous in that +4 range, just because I know things will start to hit a lot harder, and not like your normal things. It's not like bolters. It's not like bolters are like killing you, but you know that boss mechanic all of a sudden is going to kill you, right? And what's hard right now is she still hasn't done every dungeon. So like last night we did a +4 Arakara, and it was our first time in an Arakara because we've done a bunch, but a lot of them we've done like multiple times. And so we're in our car, and I'm like trying to explain the boss mechanics, but I was like, dang, I really should have like explained all these before we got in here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that way she would have understood, right? Rather than trying, because the problem with the mechanic is if you don't know why you do the mechanic, it makes it harder to do it right. And so it's hard for me to be like, oh, just stand behind the purple sludge and wait till the boss sucks you in, right?
Just walk over here when you get this debuff.
Right. It's a lot easier to be like, oh, the purple sludge is going to put a debuff on you that traps you in place by a little slimy. And that's perfect for when the suck-in mechanic starts, but you don't want to step in it before that, right? Like the whole thing. And that helps, but when you just have somebody in your ear going, go behind the purple. Like, it doesn't,
bruh.
Yeah, it gets a little scary, a lot happening. But she's having fun. I think she felt bad because she maybe died a couple times. But, I mean, we +3'd it. So, I mean, again, it was a +4. It was a +4, right? So it wasn't, like, terribly difficult. But, honestly, I've been having a blast just watching her kind of try to learn mechanics and figure things out. Again, it's her first time playing WoW. And she's not really a gamer. She's really not a gamer. I think in the past she played like maybe a couple like 2D scroller type games, but not really a gamer. And so for her, picking this up has been really fun to watch her do it. But she loves housing. She's probably working on her house right now because now that we have the Warband neighborhood, she just made her Horde house for the first time. And so now she's very excited trying to decorate that. But it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
That's what I've been up to. I'm trying to think. I don't think we did... I can't remember. Oh, we did. I did do a farm raid of the Dragonflight raids. So our guild kind of on Fridays, our guild does legacy raids, but we try to pick like one expansion back so that it's hard enough that you can't do it solo, but it's like also not really that difficult.
Yeah,
However, we couldn't get Farrak down. Now, we didn't have a lot of time, so couldn't really like sit there and play with it. But I think there was something bugging out. It seemed like some of the ghosts were bugging out and just like spawning in automatically as like the fire ghosts instead. And the ones that you're supposed to heal.
Was it Mythic?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it either was bugging out or something we just didn't know. But whatever the case was, like we just couldn't complete it because once that happens, then Farrak just auto kills everybody. So
yeah.
But everything again though, we cleared all the others. I don't normally do a lot of like legacy farming. However, my wife was talking. She's like, I just want some more transmog. I want more transmog. How do I get more? I was like, well, our guild does something once a week. You should definitely pop in on that. So she had a blast. It's fun watching, right? It's just fun. It's fun observing somebody who is getting into the game for the first time, right? She was nervous. Oh, she just left her mic muted. But afterwards, she's like, I was just laughing so much at everything people were saying. And it was so funny. I was like, good. I'm glad. Like, I want her to be able to have fun doing something that I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Besides all the other things that we both share hobbies in.
Just wait until you do what's it called? Just wait until there's another oh my goodness. I don't even remember what it was called. Was it called the mount farming thing? Just wait until one of those comes out, then she'll get all the transmog.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but yeah. That I wonder if we'll ever see. Do you think we'll ever see it again?
I could speculate on that, but to be honest, I don't think we'll see it at least for maybe Last Titan, but yeah. I'd be surprised if we saw it in Midnight.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a weird one because it seemed like they almost gave us a little too much. Like it seemed like it was almost too easy, and they were really trying hard to pull people back into the game in that moment. But I could see it coming back, but maybe not quite as powerful as it was, right?
Yeah.
And for everyone listening, we're talking about like was it season 2? I think it was season 2.
It was season 2, yeah.
Where we had like basically like mount drops were like multiplied by 10 or by 100 or something within dungeons. And so like mount drops were like significantly higher in raids and dungeons. It was like a crazy thing. I mean, if they ever brought it back, I'd be happy. Like it doesn't hurt me. Like there's no pain to it. But I do wonder if it was a little too powerful, right? Because then what happens if it's too predictable? You go, oh, I just wait once a year for it to come back, and then I just do it during that time. And I don't do that content otherwise.
Yeah, that's why I think it's like, I don't think we see it for like a hot minute.
Yeah. If it comes back ever to what you said, it needs to be far enough out that people don't in their mind go, oh, I'm just going to wait for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, there was one thing I wanted to talk about because it's kind of like a little bit of old content.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like super old content, but it was something that I brought up last week, and then we can kind of go through our initial impressions of the pre-patch. But I did want to just mention about the raid. The raid we did last week.
Yeah.
With AOTC.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why I wanted to talk about it because I want the Blizz executives to turn on their ears and talk and just listen. Actually, I don't want you to talk to each other. I want you to listen, take some notes, because what I'm about to say is the biggest piece of anything that you need to be taking back to the office. Probably not tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. I don't know where you guys
think it's as bad in California, probably.
Yeah, it's probably not. Let's be honest. But all I got to say is Slapping Hands is not even close to being a raid buff. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah, dude. Current Slappy Hands is low-key a little doo-doo.
They're not Slappy Hands. Friggin' grips. Dude, let me explain what I mean. When we did that, what's it called? Raid. I don't even remember what it's called. Mana Forge Omega.
Yeah.
We did Heroic to get AOTC, and we got it down. But that fight is very reliant on having a DK. And it's basically, in my opinion, and I think it's probably a couple people's opinion, that is their like, oh, we got to make Slappy Hands look like a real raid buff and not just what we say is a raid buff, right?
Yeah.
So in their all powerful being knowledge, they decide to make this fight where you basically need slappy hands, or not slappy hands, grips. And it just feels bad. Like, it feels awful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because there's many times that I died and they were basically like, yeah, we got to wipe. And I'm like, well, now I feel like crap because I died. And sometimes it wasn't even my fault that I died. And it's like, bruh, like, I feel like an idiot now because Joe Schmo over here was, like watching,
I
Twitch,
think one of them I watched no one pull you down with gravity in phase 1, right? And I was like, well, what do we do?
And it's like, okay, well, we got to wipe. It's like, bruh, like, I don't know. It just feels like super bad because it like other raid buffs, it's like, oh, we lost our mage. Like, that's fine. Like, we still have our raid buff. We still have our buff, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's fine and dandy. But like, if you lose the DK, it's like, oh, you got to wipe. And it's like, that's so dumb.
I think for me, it's a pro and a con. One, it's kind of cool, though, to feel like what you're there for is like an actual engagement that you offer, right?
Yeah.
Versus like, yo, what I'm there for is to press this one button at the start of every pool, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like that, right, there's like a little bit of a difference there where it feels fun. What I don't like with the idea of Death Grip being a raid buff, and part of the reason why I'm kind of against it is, one, it then again changes how they view Death Knight for M+. Right, I actually think that Slapping Hands was a great M+ ability, and then for them to kind of get rid of it because Raid needs Death Grip to be a raid buff is kind of annoying, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The other thing, though, that's more important to me than that is that I don't like knowing that Blizzard is limited by certain responsibilities for every raid tier, right? So does that mean for every raid tier there has to be a boss that has a Death Grip mechanic in it in order to do that boss, right? Yeah, and either Blizzard is going to stick to that forever, or they're very quickly going to forget about it and then remember in 2 seasons from now when people start complaining again about how Death Knights don't have a raid or a raid buff. So then they just put another Death Grip fight into it, right? So every 4th season we get a Death Grip boss, right?
Right.
That's also annoying, but I don't like the idea of knowing that they're stuck having to build this mechanic into every single raid, and more than just one boss, right? It can't just be like, oh, we have one boss as a Death Grip boss, right? Like, it has to be more than that because your raid buffs matter for every fight. And so I just think it's dumb. I think it's dumb. I don't like the idea that they're limited in how they design these fights simply because one class needs to do a certain action at some point in that raid. I think they should be able to design fights that are cool simply just because they're cool.
I do agree. I really wanted to talk about it because we talk about it all the time. Like, oh, DK raid buff, like, like that's a joke, right? Like, we literally joke about it all the time. I was like, I have to bring this up because this is like a true like why I think that slappy hands, grips, both really being called a raid buff is kind of absurd. But anyways, pre-patch is here. I will let you give your initial thoughts. What classes have you played? Have you played I know you were on your DK for a little bit. Did you end up playing any of your shaman? Because I think we discussed that shaman was really getting hit. Like, it changed so much.
Yeah. So I played my shaman and my DK this week. I did a 12 on my shaman. I think I did.
Dang.
I didn't do a lot on my DK. On my DK, actually, I ran pretty low keys on my DK. Ran higher keys on my shaman. Again, though, my DK was mostly just me playing with my wife, which was fun, right? Death Knight thoughts that I had, maybe similar to yours, maybe not. It feels like I'm missing, like a little bit of. I think there's going to be stuff I'm getting in the Apex talents and in my tier set, maybe that will feel more like I'm spending and building better, right now my build and spend kind of feels whatever, especially because like I don't know, maybe it's because I'm not thinking about Bone Shield anymore, which is kind of low-key a little bit nice but also a little bit sad, right?
That's kind of sad, yeah.
Right. I think Blood DK always kind of felt like a pretty simple tank. Like, it never felt like an overly complicated tank that I think too much about. Maybe that's because I've done it forever, but it always did kind of feel like a simpler tank. And I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy with it for the most part. It doesn't feel terrible. It feels aight. It's okay right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead if you had to.
And I was
If you're finishing.
I was going to talk about Shaman, but why don't you say what you're going to say first?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm in agreement. I thought it kind of just felt a little underwhelming, maybe,
Yeah.
and also with Unholy. And Unholy's kind of weird because I played Unholy when it was like, oh, press these 10 buttons in a row, and then that's your opener, and then you have like 15 other, like I played it when it was that. So like now it's like, oh, like there's literally like one button for an opener, and then it's like so like that feels like super underwhelming to me. And now I just feel like the button, but like you said, I feel like Blood never really was that hard of a tank. Like the button bloat for Blood really wasn't that bad.
No.
So now it just feels like a little bit, not like super bad, but it definitely feels like, okay, this definitely feels weird, like a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It feels a little different, but not bad. It's not terrible, right? Like I'm not playing it right now. Like, oh, I'm not playing Blood next year. I'm gonna go. Like I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Shaman on the other hand, I have thoughts. And it's actually not as bad, I think, as a lot of Shamans would doom on. Again, I don't know if I play Shaman at the highest levels, so other people would probably be like, no, Swag, you don't get it. It's horrendous right now. For what I was playing, it's also hard to tell in pre-patch because we feel like we're a little bit stronger in general right now. Do you feel that way? I think the stat squish. I don't think the stat squish was done perfectly. I don't even know if the stat squish could have ever been done perfectly, right? But because of that, right, it does feel like I'm a little bit stronger than I was pre-patch or before than I was pre-patch.
Yeah.
But like
pre-patch.
Right? And so it's hard to tell, like, does this feel better or am I just outputting better healing because of the changes to stats and whatnot and numbers. But in terms of just like rotation, it's really hard to tell, right? Because I'm playing Farseer Shaman, and so I'm smacking like 3 buttons max to begin with. I'm only smacking like Nature Swiftness, Riptide, and Healing Wave. But it does feel weird, kind of maybe missing out on some of my more core abilities that I've gotten used to. I'm not going to miss Cloudburst Totem. I know other Shamans will for sure miss Cloudburst Totem. I'm not missing Cloudburst Totem. I don't want to be thinking that far in advance when I'm using my abilities. I don't want to be sitting there thinking, okay, what point do I have the best healing output, but also will need the highest healing at the end of that ramp, right? Like that was never a great gameplay to me. I know other people like it because it's a expression of skill. I just don't think it was a great expression of skill. So I'm fine seeing that go. Healing Stream Totem also feels visually more iconic as a shaman, right? Seeing that like chain heal-esque heal go out. Although I don't even know if it does that anymore. I guess I don't pay attention. But I like... Overall, I like the changes. It's also hard to tell what changes are because I just grabbed a random talent build off of Wowhead and what changes are actual changes in the...
No, that's fair, to be honest.
Right? Because I went from like a build that I had tweaked a bit to like me just grabbing something off Wowhead to hop into a key real fast because somebody asked me to heal. I will say, though, I think Thunderstorm is gone, right? I think Thunderstorm is gone. And I'm gonna miss that one, but I'm not sure if I miss it because it was beneficial for affixes, or if I'm gonna miss it because it was actually good, right? So like, for example, what we were dealing with like the alarm beetles, and I'm like, all I have to do is like throw down a cap totem, right? But I can't throw down the cap totem. This was like in the lower key, not the 12. But I can't throw down cap totem because Zalatath is going to pop up any second and throw all of her orbs down. And so I have like one ability that can do anything to help out in these two situations. And it's a very long cooldown. And it's also not an insta cast, right? You throw cap totem down and it waits like 3 seconds or something before it goes off.
Yeah.
And that felt a little weird. But again, I'm explaining it for things that are not midnight, right? So I think that Zalatath affix will still be around, And there'll probably just be other people who have to handle it, right? It's probably just not me anymore. It's probably other people have to handle it. That's inconvenient. But I'm not going to be dealing with like having to knock up those alarm beetles every time I run our car anymore. That's just not going to be a thing. So I don't like losing utility, right? I wanted less rotational difficulty, not less utility. And I think that's kind of what maybe made me a bit sad. But, I will say my Resto Shaman always felt like his bars were just too much. Like, there was just too much stuff on my bars. And so there's also something really nice about knowing that there's just less. There's just less things. And for me, losing a bit probably doesn't feel great. But for other players wanting to step into that role, it probably feels really good.
It probably does, yeah.
Yeah, so especially like losing, it's hard because like losing something that you're used to feels like you're losing the ability to handle that thing now or deal with that thing now. But really,
no, I get that.
But really, in part, it's permission to not worry about it, right? Because that's part of what Blizzard's doing. They're also saying, okay, well, what do we want this class to be worrying about? What things are they going to feel responsible for when they walk into a dungeon? And that's a balance, right? Yeah. It's not just the coolness of like, oh, I can handle anything. It's also like the mental load of like, well, we don't actually want that class to be thinking about everything in the dungeon, right? We just want to be thinking about these two things. And this class will think about these two things. And this class will also have their two things. And then you kind of mix and match classes so you have all your things covered based upon everybody's groupings of two, right? And that's how it should be. And so I think I understand what Blizzard's trying to go for. It's just going to be a slight adjustment. However, I don't feel weaker, right? And so, I don't know. I don't hate them. I don't hate the changes.
I think part of what I was kind of thinking when it comes to, and I think you like kind of touched on it a little bit. I think once we get into midnight and we feel like, okay, like this is how these classes are supposed to go, I think that'll add another complexity to it. Is it these, like everything feels good still because we're so used to what we've been playing?
Yeah.
Or is it literally just it feels good, right? Because like I said, these dungeons, we've literally been doing these dungeons for some of them we've literally been doing, for almost a whole year. So it's not weird to think that, hey, we know these dungeons really well, and it doesn't feel like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to need this, and I already know what I'm doing in this dungeon, but is it going to come to the point in the next dungeon that I don't know what I'm doing, and it'd be nice to have this, so I'm going to have to work differently around that?
That's a good question.
And kind of like what you said with the Xalatath affixes, which I think they'll come back, but I think they'll be different. I think they're going to be 4 different ones.
Yeah.
But I still think they'll kind of have like the same like vibe, if you will. But
I think they're only swapping one out.
What'd you say?
I think they're only swapping one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I'm kind of shocked by that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, yeah,
I guess it works because Zali's still the villain, right? So we get a little more time. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And with a whole new dungeon pool, I think that's like the bigger thing that people are probably looking at, right? Like it's like, oh, this is a whole new dungeon pool. It's not the same exact dungeon pool that we just had, right?
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
Yeah, I will say though, I don't hate it. Again, though, I think what's hard for me to tell is, do I not hate it because the changes actually aren't that bad, or do I not hate it because the stat squish actually made us a little bit stronger, right? And that's where I'm like, I don't know. Either way, though, I think that's a good move. I think it's a good move anytime Blizzard's prepping to make major changes for an expansion, especially changes that will make us feel weaker. Make sure we don't feel weaker at first, right? Like when we go into midnight, sure. If I suddenly feel like weak at level 90 in midnight, fine, whatever. My brain goes, oh, I'm hitting max level. But don't like in the middle of at the end of a season, right? I should say, right? As we're doing pre-patch, don't all of a sudden make my character feel like I'm incapable now of doing the content I was doing before. And right now, I actually feel like I could probably push a key level or 2 higher than what I could push before. And that, I think, subconsciously makes you happier, right? It's kind of like whenever Blizzard adds like a new spec into the game, they usually try to make that spec a little too strong. because they want people to think well of it, right? Like, imagine Blizzard
That's
has a
true.
spec and it's like the worst spec, right? Dude, from that point forward, that spec is forever memed, right? Like Boomkin will no longer hold like the bottom spot in the populace's opinion, right? All of a sudden, that spec now is like bottom spec, and you know, it that public opinion matters, and so I like what they did, where I actually feel stronger, and I'm not sure it has anything to do with the changes other than the stat squish itself. I don't think it has anything to do with like my actual ability or talent changes.
Yeah, no, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Also, for fun, I've been playing Totemic all season, which isn't as good as Farseer, but I'd already kind of committed to it, so I didn't really feel like switching. I played Farseer for Raid. I just didn't play Farseer for Dungeons. And so with the pre-patch, I was like, well, might as well switch to Farseer. So some of it's probably that, right? Like, it also feels fresh to me because I'm playing like a whole different style, right? Where I'm doing the Farseer build, and I'm not like just spamming healing chain heal. I'm not just spamming chain heal the whole time. Now I'm spamming Riptide.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing with Blood and even Unholy. They don't play. Neither of them play Sand Lane anymore.
Right? Yeah, because
Unholy went to Rider.
I was Sand Lane all season. And then with the pre-patch, I swapped to Deathbringer. Although I think Deathbringer might have been pretty good this season, anyways. But I think I played Sand Lane last season, and I was just like, I know I'm not maining my DK. I don't want to think about it. I'm just gonna keep playing Sand Lane.
Yeah, right.
But pre-patch, I switched to Deathbringer.
Yeah, I think for Blood, it definitely went back and forth. Some people played Deathbringer, some people played Sand Lane. But for Unholy, everyone played Sand Lane. Like, like Rider was like kind of doo-doo. And same with Frost. Rider was really doo-doo.
I think Rider is such a cool
weird.
like concept, though. So I'm glad it's back.
It is kind of a cool concept, and now it's cool that it's like both DPS play Rider, actually.
Yeah.
Like, Blizzard has a cool way of doing that. I think I had mentioned about that at some point. Like, I hope like Blizzard does this, and maybe that's kind of their way of making people play like a little differently, different play styles, where they kind of buff one of the hero talents and kind of nerf the other, so people are kind of forced to switch. Not necessarily forced, but it feels better to switch.
Dude, it feels really good when you go into a new season and you're just playing a different build, right? It feels really good. Maybe not as good like mid-season to have to swap it up, but like for a fresh season,
feels a little weird.
For a fresh season, it feels very good. Also, what did you think of consumption totally changing?
Consumption? Oh, yeah,
Blood.
Consumption did change a lot. Yeah, at first I was like, because it kind of brought me back to beta or alpha. No, beta. And I was like, oh, right, they changed consumption. And I was like, this feels better. And it kind of makes me be okay that they got rid of Bone Storm.
Yeah.
Because I really like Bone Storm. And I was like, okay, like, I'm not happy that they got rid of Bone Storm, but consumption is so much different now that I feel like I'm okay with it. Because it's like a cast now.
Yep.
Like a pseudo cast, if you will.
Yeah, it's the charge thing, like what Drakthir had, or Vokers.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm okay with that. But yeah, it just, I don't know. It just feels like there's not as near, like it just feels underwhelming. So yeah. And I don't know. I'm interested to hear what other people have to say. I've only played Blood and Unholy. I've not played. I loaded into my Monk with all intensive purpose of being like, oh, I want to try out Monk because I think that's the healer class I'm gonna try next season or next expansion, just to do a healer for a season.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, like I should do it, but then I was like, never mind. There's like too much other stuff to do.
Never mind.
So I went back and did some other stuff with questing and all that jazz. Did you have a chance to play Devourer or even the? I didn't do the Void Elf quest yet. Was it good? Did you do it? I saw you doing it on stream, I think.
Yeah, I did the Void Elf. Quest. It was.
Does it make sense lore?
Yeah. Lore wise, oh, dude, I had a topic I want to talk about today. Lore wise, it makes sense in the case of we're trying to become like voidy demon hunters, right? Like basically they're learning how to fight like a demon hunter, but using void to do so. And so the void elves, having already been masters of like understanding the void, it makes sense that like they'd want to find a way to combine that with how demon hunters fight, right? It was also interesting watching a demon hunter try to also go down that same path, saying, well, I want to learn how to use the void as a demon hunter. And they struggled because I think they tried to control it the same way they would control the Fel or control demons, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work, right? Like, it was like, nope, that's not going to work. But I had a thought while I was doing that quest line. I've been thinking a lot lately about Blizzard's stated goal that every class should be able to be played by like every race. And for the longest time, I was kind of like dooming on that because I hadn't like logically figured out like how to make that work, right? So I think at one time on the podcast, I kind of conceded on the Void Elf Paladin thing. And I basically said like, yo, the easiest way they could do that would it just be like to give Void Elves, like if you play a Paladin as a Void Elf, conceptually the idea is that the light is cleansing you of the void that was within you, right? And then maybe even like replace the racial abilities with like a light version, right? So like your teleport is just like a light beam that you go forward with, right? They all do the same things, or like instead of turning purpley voidy while you're in combat randomly, you just get like a light aura around you or turn yellow, right? Like boom, that's it, right? Like you just move on. But then I was thinking more even about the two hard ones, right? Would always be the Evoker or the Demon Hunter. Those ones are difficult. Death Knight is difficult, but Death Knight they could just write in that there's somebody who's still raising Death Knights, right? Like you could find a reason. You could find a way to make more Death Knights. They've done it enough times, right? But I was thinking about the Evoker one, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast. I've had this idea for a while. But with Evokers, all you have to do is just let people choose other races as their Visage form. Because Evokers have to fight in Dragon form no matter what, right? So, like, just give Night Elves a Evoker class. But the assumption is that a Night Elf Evoker is still a Drakthir. Their Visage form is now a Night Elf. With all the normal Night Elf customization, right? No extra customization, just the normal Night Elf customization. Boom. Easy. Done. Like I feel like that's like such an easy answer to that question of just like, oh hey, if you want to be a night elf, you just are a night elf, and I don't know how they answer the racials question for that. It's possible that you just because evokers are kind of a little reliant, I think, on the racials of Drakthir. So it's possible, but also I don't know if they truly aren't. They might have separated that when they added other classes. I haven't kept track. It's possible that you could just say, nah, screw it. You just always have the Drakthir racials no matter what, right? And I think that's fine. Like, that'd be fine, right? Like,
that's okay.
Because what people want isn't necessarily... I mean, they probably do. There's probably people who want Shadow Meld as a Drakthir, I'm sure. But I think what people really want is be able to be like, oh, my dragon can turn into a Night Elf, or I have a Night Elf that can use Evoker abilities, right? That's really what they want. And I think that scratches that itch. I think the idea that Evoker or Drakthir have to fight in their dragon form is really cool. I wouldn't be opposed if they walked that back a little bit, and only certain abilities required you to be a dragon, and they only turned you into a dragon while doing that attack, and then you went back to your Visage form. That would be fine, right? Like the flyover, like when you fly over, you turn into a dragon real quick, do your thing, and then as soon as you're back down the ground, you turn back into whatever Visage you want to use. I think that would be fine, right? I don't think it's like Worgen where you have to be in that form the whole time you're in combat. I don't know. But that one's the easy one. And then the thing on Demon Hunters, right? Demon Hunters have always been the like, you can't add more Demon Hunters because the process to become a Demon Hunter is so freaking difficult, and nobody's going to do it because it's extremely painful, and most people don't even survive it, and most go crazy, right? Like, it's a whole thing, and only Illidan really knows how to do it, right? However, what I was thinking about, right, is what if... Because I'm not sure you remember this, but during the Warband episodes, I talked about Death Knights and how there's like 4 generations of Death Knights. And each time, how they're created is like a little bit different, right? And so like the first Death Knights with Terran Gorfine, they were literally just shoving orc souls into human bodies, right? And that was a Death Knight. It was like, here you go, we're shoving this orc soul into this dead guy, and that's the Death Knight. And then you had the second generation, which is like Arthas, right? Third generation, which is like most of the player Death Knights. Fourth generation, which is like the modern player Death Knights, like Pandaren, or like the allied races, right? The allied races as well. Or even like the Worgen, right? Those would be the modern fourth generation. And it's hard to tell if they're like, right, all the ones made by Bolvar, basically. And they probably don't have the same side effects that the third generation does, because we believe that some of the third generation side effects, like the hunger and things that they have, like for death, is not because they're a Death Knight, but because the Lich King instilled that in them as a way for control and to ensure that they continued in the mission that they were made for. And so the reason why I bring all that up is, I thought about it, and I'm like, what stops Blizzard from coming up with an idea for a second generation Demon Hunter? Or third, let's say third generation, right? Because let's say Illidan is the first gen, right? Illidan's first gen. And then the current player Demon Hunters, the Illidari are second gen, right? So what stops them from coming up with like a third gen Demon Hunter where basically they don't require shoving these like demon souls into people's bodies or something, but they simply have just like mastered using the Fel? Because Illidan basically just absorbed a bunch of Fel and became one, right? Like how Illidan turned other people into Demon Hunters isn't the same way Illidan did it, right? Like I don't know why he had to do it different to the Illidari than what happened to himself. But what stops like another group, right, from doing that? Like what stops some of the Minari, right? The Fel Eridar who have joined the Alliance. What stops them from being like, yo, we can teach you guys how to harness this properly and to like actually use its power in combat. It's not great. It's painful. It's not fun. But if you really want to learn it, you can, right?
We can do it,
right? Like, what stops the Minari from making that offer, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of I was thinking about that. I was like, honestly, if Blizzard really wanted to, they could. They for sure could at the start of Midnight have every race be every class. The only difficult one is probably Druid, right? And Druid's only tough because they've kind of set the precedence of creating forms for every race. And that's it, right? Druid and maybe Shaman, right? Because Shaman as well have different totems for every race. Maybe Blizzard has to get over that and just reuse some of them or create like a generic one with players like that. I don't know. Most players don't even use the default ones anyways, right? They're like picking up the alternate forms. And somebody might be like, oh, but a goblin or a gnome would never be a druid. Sure, if you wanted to make like a mechanical version of the druid for them, like suits or whatever, I think that'd be sick.
Yeah,
I would love
that would be cool.
Right? Like I would love a tinker class that actually operates exactly identical to druid in every way, but instead of animal forms, it's animal robots. That'd be sick. With that said, lore-wise, there actually is nothing that stops. Like, there's nothing that stops a gnome or a goblin individually wanting to learn more about nature and connecting with it and using its power, right? Like, there's nothing that says, oh, goblins can't do that or gnomes can't do that. Culturally, they're not leaning that way. Culturally, that's not going to be their norm. But nothing says they can't, right? It's different to me when you have the races that are like infused with something, right? The Void Elves are infused with Void. So becoming Paladins is weird because like the Light and Void aren't going to just accept each other. So like either the Light doesn't agree to support this Crusader, or the Void has to be eradicated from them, right? That's where it becomes like okay, answer that question first, Blizz, before we move on, right? But all the other ones are easy, right? Again, though, Druid probably being the most sophisticated for the design team. But no, I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, it actually would be like really easy to pull it off. And most of them don't need quest chains, right? Like most of them don't need an explanation of why it is the case, right? All they have to do is just be like, yo, gnomes have been hanging around night elves for quite a while now. Like, yeah, a couple of them want to learn how to be druids, right? Yeah. Cool, whatever, right? And maybe you have a couple characters who are like kind of funny and they're like druids, but they keep getting in trouble for like creating things that aren't great for nature, right? Like, okay, like old habits die hard, whatever. But so random, So random. Sorry to drag us all over the place in that conversation. I thought about this week and I was like, yo, that's interesting. Oh, one other question. This one's brief. This one's not long like the other one, but I was thinking about today. Both the Horde and Alliance neighborhoods have massive areas that just like don't have any housing in them. And part of it probably is just the aesthetic of like, oh, well, we want this island to feel alive and not just like a bunch of housing plots stitched together. But both of them, I mean, they're honestly like kind of designed very similar where they have like this like top mountain range along the northern side.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, I mean, it's just like a simple question. Do you think with time we might see more housing plots added to the neighborhoods?
No, I don't think so.
Why is that?
I just don't think that it's not that there's not room for it. I just don't think that because maybe I should rephrase this. Yes and no.
Yeah.
I think maybe in like the long distance future, I think they might open it up as like, oh, like maybe like in the Last Titan. Like I don't see it happening in Midnight. But I think the areas are mainly used for things like endeavors and things like that.
That makes sense.
Because I've posed that question too, but like when you do endeavors, like there's a big like point in endeavors where it's like, oh, you have to go throughout your like neighborhood and do different quests in them as part of neighborhood quests, and those like bare lands actually make a lot of sense to be in there. And it's not that they can't expand past like the walls of the map and stuff like that. I think it's just with the subdivisions and how those work, there's not like a huge need for there to be hey, we need to, taper into any of these plots when we just have subdivisions where if you don't like something on the current plot, you can probably find it on the next, like, air quotes, secondary neighborhood, if you will. Kind of like me. That's why I'm part of the secondary neighborhood.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I think that's part of the question.
I could be wrong.
But I think that's part of the question too, right? Like if Blizzard watches player house and goes, "Oh crap, most guild neighborhoods are like packed out."
Yeah.
Then they might go, "Okay, let's add in like 15 more plots, 20 more plots, right?"
Yeah.
But if they look at the neighborhoods and they're like, "Oh, most neighborhoods are actually only holding like 25 players, 15 players, 10 players, right?" Then adding more plots would maybe be counterintuitive because it would just feel emptier, right? Like it just would feel more vacant.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's really up to like what the data says of like, oh, this is the need or this isn't the need.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it would feel nice, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I guess, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they have something built in to already kind of do that with the secondary neighborhoods. So it's kind of weird to think that they might add more. I don't know.
Totally makes sense.
Two last things. Two final things I want to talk about with this pre-patch. And one you kind of already touched on a little bit, and that is transmogs. Have you really messed with the transmog system much?
Yeah, quite a bit. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
You really like it. Yeah,
take.
you really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, to me, okay, real controversial. And don't hate me. Like, oh my gosh, people are going to start calling me elitist for saying this. I swear. I like it, but I don't know if I like it substantially more than what there was previously. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think it's like this massive change. I think the convenience of it is like,
it's nice.
You kind of know you're going to have certain sets set up, and then you just have the ability to switch between them quickly when you want to, or even just like, and I don't know how much you transmogged before, but even just to be like, oh, when I walk to my house, it's this set. When I walk outside, it's this set, right? In the dungeon, I wear this set, and it's funny because like on my DK. I don't, like whatever, right? But on my other characters, I do set them all up, right? Like I do set them up with like different looks and things. My Death Knight has like one iconic look that it just, if I don't wear that transmog, if I don't wear that transmog on my Death Knight, I actually get whispers during like guild events of people complaining.
They were like, "Hey, are you okay?"
They're like,
"You
"Swag,
okay, man?
swag, where's your shovel? Where's?" I'm like, "Okay, fine, put the shovel back on."
Are
I mean,
are
I
you
love
okay?"
I love running around with my shovel, but like every once in a while, I'm like, I want to look cool with like a big axe or something, and then I'll come back. I'll come back with the shovel again next time. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's cool, but it's not this crazy thing. I do think that the lowered cost, like the 50% lower cost, I think that's the right move. That feels right. It did feel like it was a bit too expensive, because even still, right? Like I think Blizzard wrongly assumed for some reason that once we had the new system in place, people weren't gonna still just be like randomly changing their mogs, right? Like they're gonna just switch between their presets. But the truth is, like most of the time when I changed my mog before, it was just like random crap. I was like, oh, I have this weird dagger. Let me try what this looks like with something, right? And so I do think the lower cost is good. I don't think the higher cost was the end of the world, especially knowing that now, like, you could change your transmog multiple times between, like, designated stuff without any cost. I think Blizzard is trying to design transmog in a way that lines up more with how people actually interact with it. Hopefully works out. But I think it's cool, especially in time for housing, right? To be able to be like, I'm putting on my sweatpants transmog as I walk into my player house.
Yeah, I like, don't get me wrong, I do like it, and I think it was a good change to make. I don't know, I guess like going into it, I had like such higher expectations than what I'm getting, like what I'm meeting. Like when they announced it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great, like this is cool, like I can't wait, this is gonna be the greatest thing since, sliced bread. But
Yeah.
now that it's here, I'm like, this is cool, and like it's definitely helpful, but I don't know, there's just something about it that I was like, oh, this just isn't what I thought it was gonna be like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I thought it was gonna be so much better than it is. Don't get me wrong, it's good, like not having to spend gold like every time. And maybe it's just because I'm not in that rhythm right now. It's like, like I just got a piece out of the vault, let me like transmog real quick, right? So maybe it's just that, but it still just feels like a little underwhelming for what I thought it was gonna be. I don't know. I still like it. I don't know. I just thought it was gonna be so much cooler than it is. I mean, it's cool, but I don't know.
Yep.
Don't cancel me for it, please.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Is that like fair? I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's cool. It's not like a game changing thing, right? Unless you're like an RPer who like needs different mogs every time you walk into
maybe that's
a place.
what it is. Yeah, maybe it's just not as
Right.
applicable for me.
But if anything, the RP players probably dislike it more because now they have to pay more every time they want to like swap a different pair of boots on.
Yeah, that's fair.
And they can't just like have it all transmogged as items in their bag. But the benefit is like, again, right, like there's things I'm gonna like. I think it's a very nice quality of life. It's a very convenient quality of life that like isn't this revolutionary thing, but very very convenient, right? Like leveling a character, right? Oh, set my transmog, and I'm not sitting here every time I get a couple pieces of gear, right? Dude, that was the worst on like Legion, like Remix, bro. Like every time you got gear, it was just like wrecked, right? Luckily it was free, but like even still, the idea like, oh, I'm putting on new gear, but I still look the same is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. That is the one thing about it that I'm like, oh, this is really nice. I don't have to worry about just not having, like, literally, like you get something out of the vault and you're just like, oh, got a transmog.
So, as soon as I'm done with the vault, gotta go fix it. Yeah, every time.
Yeah,
every time. Dude, what's the by the way, sorry, I see it on the list of topics that you want to talk about today, and I've seen it mentioned, but I don't actually know what it means. There's like an extension to the Great Vault. Is that just that we're still getting Great Vault even in pre-patch, or is that something different?
Oh, that was something that, well, I was gonna it was on last week's show notes actually. It was something in the beta that they like the Great Vault would like cap higher, basically. Like instead of it capping
Oh,
at like a mythic 1 out of 6, like it
yeah.
capped at like a mythic 4
But
out of
they
6. So
undid
like if
that,
you
right?
ran, yeah. So if you ran like a 16, you'd have a higher piece of vault than if you just ran like a 10. Where now if you run a 16, it basically just truncates it down to a 10 eye level, if you will.
Yeah.
And that was in beta, and there's like a lot of just like talk about, okay, is that going to come to actual, like is we actually getting that, or is it going to stay in beta? I don't think it's been announced that they're doing that or that they're not doing it. So I don't know. I'm kind of just I did start going through and looking just at Wowhead real quick just to make sure there isn't any game breaking news that we're going to be trolls for not covering. It doesn't necessarily look like there is, but that was something that was talked about like I think last week, that they really were just like, hey, like this would be great if it happened, but if it doesn't, I guess it's not the end of the world. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's whatever. I mean, to me, if I'm selfish, as a part of me that's like, oh great, I'm not sitting here worrying too much about trying to push crazy high in my vault, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that takes some stress off me. At the end of the day, it just means that I would have to spend some more the crests.
More crests.
Right? I just spend more crests, right? Whatever, right? But again, if they have it, it's cool. If they take it out, it's cool, right? Like I think the way it is for right now is better for me, because then I'm not stressing about trying to push higher, right? And panicking a little bit about that. Good old FOMO.
Yeah.
On the other hand, though, like I will forever be an advocate that if you're doing harder content and getting cooler rewards for it, that's fair. That's fair, right? Like I'm proud of you for challenging yourself. I could, if I really, really, really wanted to. I just don't, right? I don't really want to. And so I haven't put the time in or the effort in, and there's other things I really enjoy doing, but if you do and you want to, I think it's cool to kind of get some rewards for that. I think that's fun. I think that's been a huge part of WoW and MMOs for a long time. That effort pays off. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't go either way. I'm fine with either. One is a little bit nicer for me, but the other one I also totally understand. Like I get it.
Yeah, to be honest, I am in a complete agreement. It's it'd be great, but at the end of the day, it's not like I'm not already doing it and I'm getting those crests to upgrade it. So really, it's like I'm sure like the 1% is like, no, like this is great, like blah blah blah. But to me, it's like, yeah, I'm already pushing so many dungeons. Doesn't necessarily super matter to me, but maybe.
Absolutely. Anything else on the radar for us to chat about?
I think there is one glaring thing. It's right in front of our eyes that we haven't talked about yet.
Water?
No, it's right in front of our eyes. The UI, baby. What do you think about the nameplates? Dude, I hate the nameplates. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, I've seen so much talk about how much people hate them. I haven't really noticed, to be honest.
Really?
I saw them and I was like, oh wow, they look different. And then that was about it.
To me,
that was about the extent of it.
Gosh.
They're definitely blockier than they used to be, and I don't know if I like that. But I'm also just like, whatevs, cool.
Yeah, I made it seem like it was like, oh, like this is such a great change you're doing. No, like to me, it's like they're a lot different. To me, I think it's harder to tell when something is like a kickable cast.
Yeah,
I think that's the one criticism. But I'm also told that you can just like change that in the UI options. So I'm gonna try that. Have you looked at the damage meters from Blizzard at all? Like the Blizzard damage meters?
Yeah. That's what I've been using. They're nice. They
I think they're pretty good too.
Yeah. I don't love that I can't move the main one without going into the edit menu. That's mildly irritating, but other than that, it's whatevs. I think that one's a little bit more convenient to like pop up extra windows on, which is fun. But also I never used like the deep dive stuff for details. right? For the content
Yes.
we're doing, all I'm watching really is damage done, healing done, and interrupts, right?
General, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And so for that,
Yeah.
it does everything I needed to do.
No, I agree. And to be honest, I've just been looking at it, and aesthetically, it looks fine to me.
Dude, you know what I missed the most, though, from details? That
What?
the new damage meter doesn't have?
What is that?
I miss being able to type /keystone and then see what keys everyone in the guild has.
Oh yeah,
That was like a hidden feature of details that most people did not know existed.
yeah.
And it was
That
great.
does kind of suck.
It was great. Yep. I'll miss it. Oh well. YOLO, whatever. Yeah, overall the UI feels fine. There's a couple things, like I have to figure out how I want to do some dispel stuff. And I want to be able to, there's a couple things I want to be able to do, but I really don't want to do like an entire UI like overhaul, right? Like I don't want like a whole UI add-on for the game.
Yeah.
I want, like, I try as hard as I can to stay pretty vanilla with my UI, right? Like I try to keep it, pretty Blizzard UI as much as I can, because to me that's just a little bit more fun. Also, I like the visual of it. I like the nostalgia of like, yeah, World of Warcraft, right? Sometimes the super optimized UIs just aren't visually as like exciting for me. And even though they might be better for info or for gameplay or whatever, like there's still a part of the game where it's just, I just want to play a game that visually looks pretty, right? Like I want it to visually look pretty. And so sometimes that's why I try to lean into the default UI as much as I can.
No, I agree. The only thing that I really kind of missed, I had like a texture pack that isn't working. That actually, funny enough, Gorilla actually was one that he said he really enjoyed, and it kind of just like makes things a little darker. It kind of just puts a darker outline on everything.
Yeah,
and it doesn't work anymore, which kind of upsets me. The add-ons are kind of weird right now. Basically, I had to disable like literally every add-on because it was just like breaking my game every like 5 minutes. So I literally just disabled every add-on at the moment. So
that makes sense, dude. I have some add-on, bro. Some add-on that just panics. And I'm trying to figure out which freaking add-on it is, dude.
That's exactly what was happening to me. And I just ended up just disabling everything. I was like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna spend the time to try to figure out which add-on this is, especially because I was like mid-dungeon. So I was like, I'm literally just gonna disable all my add-ons and I'll figure it out later.
Figure it out. Also, if I don't even know if I would notice with my add-ons gone. Maybe Angry Keystone I would notice because it puts the keystone into the font for me, which is kind of nice. But other than that, I don't really know. At this point, I'm running pretty bare bones.
Yeah, the only one I noticed, there's two actually. One is something called Scrappable, where it just scraps all like this, like it automatically scraps all like the.
Oh, I do like that one. Yeah, I do like that one.
And it automatically repairs your armor too.
Yeah, I love that one. Fun fact:
like,
it uses guild repairs by default, which is great.
Yes.
Yep.
And then I have another one called Bag On, which just basically puts all your bags into one texture box.
There's a button for that, right?
No, there's not.
Yeah, dude.
Stop.
In the options menu, it's been there. It's been there for most of this expansion. I think it's been there for the whole expansion.
No, stop.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better though.
Oh my gosh, I see it.
If it makes you feel better, I was using Bagnon like all expansion, but I set up the bag thing for my wife when I set up her account. I was like, oh here, use this instead of the add-on. But because I was already using the add-on, I just never cared.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yep.
I'm low key kind of upset. Anyways,
dude, it's time for us to start winding down the podcast. We got a good listener question coming up in a second, though.
Yeah, we do actually.
Yeah. But before we get to that, a few things that we want to talk about real quick. Nothing super crazy, nothing that you're not used to. But I do want to bring up a few things that we would encourage you to be a part of if you can. Our Patreon is how we fund this podcast. It pays for all of our hosting fees and future projects that we're working on with the podcast. We are so thankful for our Patreon supporters. If you are supporting us on Patreon right now or have in the past, we are so stinking thankful for you and the support that you give towards the podcast. That's why we always try to answer our Patreon questions first on the podcast before any others, because you guys really, you make this happen, and that is so special. And so if you want to help support us, support the Warband podcast via Patreon, you can find a link down in the description. Also, we want to invite you to be a part of some cool things. There's some cool things that we think that are, in this case, free, that we want to invite you to be a part of. One of which is our guild. We're in an amazing guild called Astra. We love Astra. It's phenomenal. It is a wonderful community that both Chicken and I have enjoyed being a part of. It's not like a guild for the podcast. It's just a guild that the hosts of this podcast happen to be a part of. And we love it, and we want to invite you to it. It's wonderful. And if you've heard about it before and are interested in joining, jump into our Discord. There's a link, not the guild Discord, but the podcast Discord. There's a link in the description, and you'll see a channel called Join Astra. Open up a ticket and wait for one of us to reach out, and we'll help get you plugged in. I also, though, want to invite you to be a part of our Discord. Obviously, the link that we talked about before is for that. And our Discord has become just a great place to sit and chat about all things World of Warcraft. If you're a fan of the Warband podcast and want to meet other fans of the Warband podcast, it's a great place to hang out. Chicken and I are both also pretty active in there. And so feel free to chat with us while you're in there and ask questions of things. Although, please save the extra juicy questions for the podcast. Those are the fun ones. But we encourage you to be a part of that this weekend, before this weekend is over. So if you're listening to the podcast on Monday when it releases, it should already be live on the Discord, but we will be putting out, an exciting announcement about a housing competition that we're going to be hosting. So if you're into housing or want to be a part of that, you can jump in there and be a part of that. But you'll also find information on how to join the Warband podcast neighborhood in World of Warcraft as well. That was a lot to talk about, and my brain was a little rattled doing it, so we're all over the place. But now we are back at our final listener question today. Our only listener question, but the finale of the episode. And Chicken, I thought this was a fun question. We get a lot of questions about World of Warcraft. Yeah. Every once in a while, we get questions that are just outside of World of Warcraft, and those can be really fun. We encourage you, always feel free to send your questions in. So we have a question coming in from Fender RXB, and he said, not a WoW question, but I found your podcast looking up info on player housing. I gave one episode a listen, and I'm hooked. Been listening since 4 days ago and started back on episode 1. What podcast experience do you both have? Even from episode 1, you both sound professional and have that pod style, hence while you're still around. I'm glad I found it to add to my list to listen to. I still play my original tune from Classic on and off, coming back for Midnight. I'm excited to finally try Mythics for the first time. Well, first of all, Fender, before we answer your question, dude, welcome back into WoW, especially getting ready for some Mythic dungeons. Dude, I love Mythic dungeons. They're one of the best additions to WoW in the last decade, for sure. They've been wonderful. But as far as experience, the answer is kind of yes and no. It's kind of a little bit of a mix. Chicken, I'm going to let you start on this one because you actually do have a little podcast experience before this.
Yeah. So before I get into that, that's crazy. You still have a tune from Classic. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. Anyways, I have a little bit of podcasting experience. I did a couple just like low key podcasts. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't even say they were good. Like, please don't try to find them. Like they were a little sus. But I did a couple podcasts with a friend, and they were just generic podcasts, and I learned a lot from them of just what to do and what not to do when it comes to podcasts, and just how you should handle yourself, what topics you should do, just different things. And to be honest, I listen to a couple podcasts and watch a lot of just like podcasty shorts and stuff. So I definitely have like a good idea of podcasts. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm the best at it, but I at least have like a decent idea of it. And the good thing is we both streamed a lot during COVID, and Swag still streams. So equipment wise, I think we have everything we need to sound professional, like physically sound professional. and well, maybe not physically, but digitally sound professional, if you will. So
Yeah.
it's not like we're just talking into like, one mic in the center of the room and like, like we definitely have equipment that can make us sound professional. So that being said, yeah, we have, personally, I have a little bit, but my background was never in like audio and that kind of stuff where, Swag definitely has a little bit more on that and behind his thumbs. So, but it is what it is. We do good, right?
Yeah. You know what? I think if I were to answer this question as well, and I almost wish Chicken, as soon as I tossed it to the answer, actually I was thinking like, man, it'd almost be more fun to answer for each other rather than answer individually, right?
Oh yeah.
But to kind of go back to the start, so Chicken and I, this is a little lore, non-WoW lore, but this is Warband
Oh well,
lore,
that yeah.
right? Chicken and I, we actually, so we met through a small group in church. It was actually a church small group that we were both a part of.
Yeah.
It was like young married couples or whatever, and we had met and we started talking, and we were both like playing Fortnite. So we're like, yo, let's play some Fortnite together. That'd be fun, right? Like at least do something together. This was like, this was like shortly before COVID. No,
Yes.
I think,
Yep.
yeah, shortly right before COVID. I think at that point I was not streaming. I was just making YouTube videos. But I wanted to stream. COVID hadn't hit yet, and I was like buying a camera. I remember that because I bought a camera, like a webcam for my computer, because I wanted to start streaming on Twitch because I was making these YouTube videos. And I bought it the week before the lockdowns were announced. And I remember because I think it was like 2 weeks after I bought the camera, like prices like quadrupled. And I was like, dang, if I had waited any longer to move on this like idea of mine, then there's no way we were gonna I was gonna be able to afford to like stream with a camera at that point, right? It just get way too expensive. So anyways, I meet Chicken, we're in this small group together, and I find out he plays Fortnite. So I think we played like a couple rounds of Fortnite. Like, this guy's really good. And I was doing these like trolling meme videos on YouTube at the time for Fortnite. And I was like, dude, and by the way, like they were not that good. They were not that good at all. I just wanted to make them. I thought it was fun. And so I was like, dude, help me out with these. Like, you're really good at the game. Come carry me a little bit or something. And so Chicken started doing that, helping out with some of the videos. COVID hits, and we were streaming. I was doing a lot of Fortnite streaming, and then Chicken started streaming as well. And kind of stuff started taking off with Minecraft. And so there's a lot of time of Chicken and I streaming together, doing content together, whether videos, whether live streams. And Chicken had a podcast for a bit. My background, though, career-wise, is in I do a lot of live production. So, like, live audio I do a good bit of video editing for work as well, and some audio work with that. And so I have a background kind of in that production world, in that digital media world. And I yap a lot. I have no problem talking in front of people. Talking in front of people is like my comfort zone. I do it all the time. Even this morning with the snow day at our church, I still had everything pre-recorded. So now I had to sit on my couch this morning and watch myself do the introductory stuff. I'm a yapper. And it's what I enjoy doing. And
I'm a yapper.
And Chicken had a podcast for a while with a friend of ours, and they were having a lot of fun with it, but it just kind of fizzled out. It just was what it was. And from that point forward, Chicken was like pushing me, be like, dude, we got to start a podcast. I don't even think Chicken cared what kind of podcast it was. I could have come back and been like, yo, dude, do you want to do a podcast on like the prices of Beanie Babies? And he would have been like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. He was feeling the itch, and he wanted me to get on board. And it just was such a good fit. It was just such a good fit for us to do a podcast. What ended up ultimately really encouraging me a lot to start the podcast was I think I just started dating my girlfriend, my now wife, right? I think we had just started dating around when the podcast started, right? And I was like introducing her to Chicken and his wife, and we were out at this like pizza shop, whatever, chatting. And afterwards, she just goes, listening to you two talk is like one of the funniest things. You guys are just so entertaining. And it was at that moment I was like, okay, we could do that. We could do that. And I think, too, to give Chicken credit, this is something that I value a lot, and I think Chicken values a lot. And if anyone's listening who is currently working on a podcast or starting one, I would encourage you to take this to heart. it's a trait I really appreciate in Chicken, but he is always just thinking like, how do we make it better? How do we do better? Right? He's never just content. He's always like, okay, but I want it to be better. He will listen to the podcast every time we release it. So every time we release a podcast, he will listen to our full episode and he will critique himself. He will listen to the way he talks, the way he interacts, the way he responds to things, the jokes he makes, and go, okay, what hits, what doesn't hit, what's hard to understand, what like could be confusing or doesn't come across the way I wanted it to, and what would cause somebody to maybe click off or go to something else. He's very, very intentional with that. And so I think some of it is just we've had years of kind of doing random things together, but also I think a lot of it too is even just like in Chicken, like he is really, really, really thoughtful into how we make the content, what we do. So, yeah, it's just a lot. There, not really. I wouldn't say there's a big background in podcasting really for either of us. I think it's just a lot of things that were very adjacent to podcasting and a lot of intentionality when we started the podcast.
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
And Chicken will tell you, it took months for me to finally say yes to starting the Warband.
Oh, dude, this guy, I had to like carve him like a canyon, brother.
Yeah. And then when I finally did say yes, it was like, yeah, I'll do a podcast. However, I need to figure out how to make it work first before we can do it. And then I took forever to figure out how a podcast should go. And then by the time we started it, I still didn't know what the answer was. I was just like, okay, now we're winging it. But it's been a blast. I've loved recording this with him.
Well, yeah, because just one more tad bit of lore. Like we even talked about not us being on it every week, both of us. Like we would take turns with other people. Yeah, which is we don't do that specifically, but we do have guests.
Yeah, anyways, we try to have guests quite frequently. But we had talked, right? Like, oh, hey, if you can't record 1 week, we'll just record with someone else on the show. And I think one time we kind of did it where you weren't able to be there, and we brought in like a handful of guests as like a round table.
Yes, like a panel, yep.
But the truth is, like, the joy of the podcast isn't being able to release the podcast. It's not the community that's forming around it. I love all those things. The joy for me of the podcast, though, is I get to sit and record and just chat. I get to chat about World of Warcraft with my best friend like once a week.
Yeah.
And that to me is a joy. And so I'm super thankful for that. For nothing else, that alone makes it a lot of fun for me.
Yep.
All right.
I agree.
But with that said, that is everything we have today to talk about. And we will see you again next week.
Yeah, buddy.